Welcome to the Miniatures Paintbrush. Today we're going to talk about a response video to Mr. IDICBeer 40K. And the response video is, Games Workshop's release schedule right now. Is it good or is it even bad for the hobby kind of thing? And he did a show on Saturday. I'll try to link that in the description. I'm doing the best that I can with my phone. I wonder if I can do that. But I am going to tell you, please check out, if you haven't already, Mr. IDICBeer 40K. I'm part of his Wargamers Unification group, and it is an amazing group where Wargamers get together, content producers get together, and we all support each other. So he did this one, but I'm going to get to the main topic a little later on in the show. What I do want to talk about first is the news, and the news is great. Let's talk about Lena Stormspire. Now, if you don't play Warhammer Age of Sigmar, then you might not know who this is. But as you can tell, I'm a Stormcast Eternal collector. So this Lena Stormspire is actually like a Liberator Prime, I think it is. It seems like it. So it's only exclusive though. It's a really cool model. But so one of the things that's cool, it has character. Like for instance, it has a missing gauntlet, and the missing gauntlet actually plays to, like, it seems like she's been fighting this war so much that she actually had an orc kind of bite her gauntlet or something. This is the story that I'm actually inventing. I don't know if it's actually true. But, bit onto her and she left her grief and just kept on hacking at the thing until it was gone, because obviously she, Lena, is actually still hacking away, apparently. And what it could have been is the orc that she has underfoot. Yes, she has an orc under her foot, crushing the head, that's already been decapitated. That might be the actual orc that tried to take her hand off by biting it, and she just like hacked her head off and kind of stood on there. It's a really cool model. This is along the lines of the Black Talon kind of epic, where it has a dynamic pose and there's just so much character there. And well, female Stormcast Eternals, I like them. I really like them. I like that it adds and is sprinkled on the army, and it's like, non-gender specific, and there are heroes for females as well as for males in that army, and I love the diversity in that. I love that it's multi-ethnic, and then they have a lot of people multiracial. So it's pretty much an army just for about anyone. It's so easy to kind of get into, and there's so many options. But the bad things that I do not like about this model is that it's completely exclusive, according to the news, to brand new stores. For stores that have been refurbished, in other words, they redid the store just now and they're reopening it, or any kind of relocation of a store where they're opening up into a new area and they're a new store. These are the three places that they're saying that it's exclusive to, which is a little sad, but I'm gonna ask my local gaming store, which always has the hook up, if you know what I mean. They already have great selection. It's called Your Hobby Place, and it is amazing store that I go to in my local area, and I love supporting them because they're a really amazing store that really looks out for people. I hope to see, I'll ask if they actually can get their hands on a copy, because they're really great for Liberator armies, and I'd love to add her to my Liberator. Possibly I think it's a Liberator Prime. Like, it just really reminds me of that Neve Black Talon, that pose. Actually, Neve is over here. Which I still have to build, which is going to get into the topic which I'm talking about later, whether the release schedule and how I deal with what I have behind me. Okay, so another bit of the news is that there's going to be the first FAQ update for 40K, which is coming out in April, and GW is kind of waiting for Adepticon to come in and to finish so they can release it. And the thing what happens, if you don't know, when they go to these major tournaments, they actually retool the points sometimes to reflect things or clarify certain things, because issues actually come up through these tournaments. See, what happens is, from my point of view, is point values may change due to those who find loopholes and cheats that unbalance the game to make it unfair for all players. Cheese. The idea is to make armies balanced so that major factories for victory is generalship and dice rolls. And that's just my personal view on it. I think that if you are going to be good at Warhammer 40k, it shouldn't really matter as the army you bring or the list you bring as much as, and I know list building is a big part of people, and a lot of people are like, no way, list building is the epic part of 40k. And I get that. No, I really do. Choosing the right army and the forces for the battle that's are ahead, it seems realistic. But, you know, if I'm thinking about it in a 40k situation, right, when does one really prepare for exactly to know what the enemy's going to bring? You don't really know, so you have to make these list of army men that you have available in order to fight the situation. And I get that. I totally do. But a game, in my opinion, isn't a game unless it's close. I mean, like down to the wire, you know, bite your fingernails because you don't know who's going to win, and that it comes down to just the dice rolls, and that last one dice rolls, could I win? Could I? That's exciting, you know? Putting up your army and blasting the other person off the table and they never really had a chance, is that really playing? I guess it is, but I don't know. That's just me. To me, that's the spirit of the game. The spirit of the game is going in for a battle, struggling, and you know, sometimes you have just really bad dice rolls, and you know, it epic fails, and you don't get a move off, and that's okay with me. Like I'll have games like that and have not a problem doing that. I know I had like a consistent bad dice roll, and you know what? The dice are like that. Sometimes I'll have the bad dice rolls. Sometimes my opponent might have bad dice rolls. And you know what? That's just part of playing a game of chance. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But actually giving the other person a chance, giving you a chance. Everybody has an opportunity that, you know, you strategize, you place your figures in the right order and actually map it out. To me, that's where it is. The game is actually where you play it. And not just trying to completely dominate or shut out your other opponent. Like, that is a layer for some people. But to me, that's not what the spirit of the game is, in my opinion. If you have a different opinion, let me know. You know, I'm not here to tell you there's just one way to enjoy this hobby. There's so many different ways to enjoy this hobby. I'm just letting you know how I personally think the game is about. But, you know, just let me know if you think it's different. All right, so, and you have to pardon me because I took a lot of notes and I'm kind of looking down and up, but you know, let's make it happen, right? Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Necromonger Tactica. Now, I don't play Necromonger. I am a fan of their terrain. I like the look of it. I like the aesthetics of it. I like the story behind it, that it's a hive city and, you know, it's built up and there's many layers, and I think that's really, really cool. Now, in this week, they were talking about House Goliath and how they're stronger than other groups because they are a toughness of 4. The only thing is that their movement is short. So they have a movement of 4 inches, while other gangs can actually maneuver around them quite easily. But when they hit hard, and I mean hard. But they're saying that you need to kind of diversify that group. It's that, yes, you do want those heavy hitters. Yes, you do want to pack a punch. That's what the group is for. But try considering at least somebody who can start maneuvering, somebody who can go like, not maneuvering, but more like shooting. You know, think about, well, if I can't reach them by foot, then can I reach them with my pistols and guns and stuff like that in the game, tactically. Another point in the news is the Heretic Astartes focus, and it's called Iron Warriors. Now, I remember the paint scheme of Iron Warriors. I think Wargamer Online, I think there was one of them. It was either that or SAO, Winters. He had one of them. I think it was one of those shows. I know I was watching a battle report and it had them, and I do like to watch both those channels. Yeah, Winters is pretty good battle reports there. The Gaming Geek is pretty good too. Awesome. Anyway, I know I saw that before, and it was just like silver armor with the hazard stripe, the yellow hazard stripes, and I thought that was actually a pretty cool, simple way to complete an army. If you wanted to make an army, you want to get into chaos, and you don't want to go into, like, you want a simple kind of pattern to put your army together to make it look stunning on the table. Because let's be clear here, I do not like armies that are not stunning personally. I can't stomach it because I know that I have the ability to do better, and I'm always trying to push myself. So, you know, I don't want to sell myself short. But we're going to talk about that later. So Heretic Astartes Iron Warriors, Heretic Astartes, I'll get that right. Heretic Astartes focus, the Iron Warriors. The Chaos Marines are set to receive a huge wave of new reinforcements. That means we're going to get more Chaos models above and beyond the Shadow Spear set. So, wow. Right? But Iron Warriors are the masters of siege. It's sort of like, you know, the Imperial Fist, right? And to show this to units, with this trait, not only gain a bonus to their saving throws for being in cover, to show this, enemy units within this trait do not gain any bonus to saving throws for being in cover. It means if you're in cover, you do not get any bonus to your saving throws. And in addition, you can reroll failed wound rolls for units that have this trait. When they target a building. So, and you can imagine the devastation that's going to happen if you're playing one of those City of Death games where it's all about cover and dense cover and everything else. You don't want to get anywhere near these Iron Warriors in that kind of situation because they're just going to chop right through you. I mean, again, they're gaining the benefit of the bonuses to being in cover, but you're not, you know, just not. And there's so many other things that you can delve into there. But just think about it. There's just like nowhere to hide. Just go for it, right? They're coming. So that's all about the news that I kind of want to talk about. I do want to talk about some hobby progress. I'm really happy about the hobby progress. And I don't know if you can tell, I tried to tone it down a little bit. I get so excited. I want to talk really, really fast. And this is the way I do because I'm, you know, from New York and I can talk really fast. It's just the way I am. Sometimes I'm excited. You can ask my students. Yeah, I'm fun, I think. Anyway. Some progress indeed. So I took this to the point where I'm happy with, and I added some rust marks. I don't know if you can see clearly, and some streaking, and I will have some really professional pictures done with my professional camera once I get the computer and I get that all up. But I will have pictures. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post this on Instagram when I'm done with it. I'm going to take pictures of it and probably from my camera and post that up. But I took this to the level where I'm happy with. I'm going to call this done here because it has the weathering on it, but it's lightly weathered and it's not too crazy and that's done. But that's not the only piece that I did. I did the bottom piece as well. Yeah, these things are huge, right? So I did the bottom piece as well. And of course I did this part, and me being me, this part is actually going to get covered by this section right here. Right there. So that's going to get covered, but I don't care. I got to do the end anyway, because you never know. I mean, I'm making it modular. I'm going to put this record down. I'm making it modular, so this way you might be able to see it one of these days, but I like to do all the details that are in there. And I chose Google Colors, actually, for the pipes, and then I weathered the pipes down, and then I did rust on the pipes as well. I don't know if you can see it. I got some really gentle some rusting going on there. And I really like the details that it came out. And there's so many details to pick out on this thing. And I really had fun painting this section here. But that's not all that I completed this week. I also completed 2 of these sections right here. Let me just put one at a time so you can see it. All right, I'm just going to rotate it around so you can see, again, the rust marks coming down. All the bolts have some rust that's actually leaking down in different kind of colors. Like one is really bright orange, the one was like a dirty brown orange. And they just had like a lot of flavor to it. And I really like these gauges, although they were kind of difficult to paint. I used IDICBeer's 40K's technique on how to paint white, where I was going from gray tones and bringing that up. Thank you. Thank you there. It was pretty awesome. And it was a lot more easier to paint white. Actually, what I'm using to paint white right now is I go from a darker gray. Let me see if I have it right here. Okay, so what I'm doing is a heavy blue gray from Extra Opaque. This is from Vallejo. Game Extra Opaque. I do like that because just as the name, it has coverage. this is like the king of coverage when it comes to Vallejo paints. So I go that, and then I take this up and I go werewolf gray. I'll say that right? Gris Lobo. I like the way it says it there in Spanish. All right. So yeah, and then I take it up to that. And then if I want to take it to a bone white after that, or I want to take it to a pure white after that, you could take it up to a pure white after that. But you know, after a couple of applications with that, it really comes out pretty bright and pretty white. All right. Time for the middle section. I'm going to show you right there. And I went a little bit overboard with the details because, you know, details. I know it's terrain, but you know, I wanted to not cheat myself and do a good job with the detail. So I got into every kind of crook and cranny, every kind of wiring was done in a different color, and I made the screens actually, you know, blip with an enemy, and you know, did all that kind of stuff right there. And really, I made a lot of progress listening to my audiobook, listening to the Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings right now, and I'm almost done with it. So I like to listen to a lot of audiobooks when I hobby. I like to watch YouTube videos when I hobby as well. So I do a little bit of both. I don't really watch, I listen to the YouTube videos, and then I check them out, you know. I love watching tutorials because it makes me a better painter. But that is a bit of most of my hobby progress. Actually, I did another thing with the hobby progress, but I don't have it with me. It's upstairs, and really I'm not really mobile that I can actually just run upstairs and get it, unfortunately. But it was for my nephew. He's very, very young, and he's having a birthday party this weekend. And what I wanted to do, I told him to go in, and I bought this at Five Below, I think it was. They were selling Magic, the board game with the game pieces on it, and it was a really good buy for all the miniatures that come in there. And it's not the highest quality of the miniatures. In other words, it's a game piece and not, you know, a display piece. And I wouldn't enter it in a competition or anything like that. In fact, it didn't have eyes, and I painted the eyes on there, and it was just some doppelganger four-armed creature in which I painted up in purples and fun colors, so it's not too scary. And it's one piece, so you know, you don't have to mount it onto the base. It's already mounted onto the base, so it's a game piece. And I decorated and did the moss base with some rocks, and I had some bushes coming up the back. So it looked actually pretty cool for a miniature. But he came up to me and said, "Can you paint this miniature?" I'm like, "Ho ho ho ho, ho can I?" I have fun doing that. Okay, so that is all for the hobby progress. Now going into, we're getting into 17 minutes into the video, but finally, we're getting into the response video, the main topic of this video. Okay, so this is a response video, and the title is New Game Workshop Releases, Good or Bad for the Hobby? I'm going to tell you right now, I think that it's good for the hobby. I think that it's good for the hobby. It's hard to catch your breath. And I am really happy when they actually come out with things that I don't collect. That's weird, right? I'm really happy when they come out with things that I don't collect. That means I don't have to buy them, right? That's amazing. And if there's a box set now, I split that box set with people. I do. I just split it with people. Ever since I split a box with Vince Ventrola at his class at CK Studios, which I do have video about that. It's really cool. Great experience. But ever since I split that box with him, and that's like, I think the first box that I really actually split with somebody, because usually an open box would bother me to no end, which it is. It is, okay? But I'm not touching the box until I'm ready. Okay, until I finish what I have on my plate. And it will bother me to motivate me to paint that later on. So yes, I do like that they have new releases because it can't hurt the hobby to have more options. It just can't hurt the hobby to have more options. And now, them getting rid of the small Marines, I think that's silly. I think that if you're playing a game that's not in a tournament and that you're playing with friends, you could change up some of the stuff and do some homebrew stuff. And it doesn't even have to be major here, okay? It doesn't have to be major. If the TAC Marines cost exactly the same as the Primaris Marines, and the biggest draw between the TAC Marines and the Primaris Marines, to my understanding, is that the Primaris Marines actually have two hit points. So what's stopping you in your homebrew game to add the TAC Marines? Just add one more hit point to the TAC Marines. I mean, and see what that does. Does that balance it? Does it not? Discount the points. That's another thing you can do. You could take the points down, not ridiculously. You know, you take them down 10 points a unit or something. I don't know, something small. Get it to the point where it feels balanced in your homebrew games with your friends, okay? Pickup games is going to be different because you don't really know the person, and you're going to want to stick to a standard that you can both, you know, sink your teeth into, which is the rules. But if you want to play TAC Marines and your homebrew games with your friends, man, more power to you. I'm going to use my TAC Marines. I love my TAC Marines. I love painting them. I love the way they look. I love the bases. I love that every single one of my infantry, I included non-metallic metal gold because I wanted to learn how to paint non-metallic metal gold. So I went insane and did all non-metallic metal gold for my infantry. That's how you learn, right? When you hobby purposefully, so you take something that you really want to get better at, and you focus on that one thing for the infantry, or focus for that one thing for that model, or that group, or that unit. Until you get better. Now, there's an issue where there's non-consistency within my model. I challenge you to take a look at my Space Wolves and say that it's an ugly army. I mean, maybe it won't win awards, but if you put that sucker on the table, and I think it looks better than the box art, which for me, that's pretty good, because when I buy a product, I look at the box and that's what I expect to get. So if I exceed that, then it's even better, you know? And that's always been my goal. And whether it wins awards or not, I mean, to be recognized as an artist is amazing. But if I'm not, I'm having fun just doing it, you know? So what I usually do is put a box up, and I look at the box, and I say, Rob, this is your goal. This is what you need to beat. Okay, you got to take it to that level and then take it beyond that level somehow, some way. So I like building it similar to what the box looks like for the most part, and then taking it to an extra level and work on something in specifically that takes it to that next level. And I do that, but not to say that I don't do some conversions. I do. A lot of my trash to treasures, I kind of like to add things to. My Redemptor Dreadnought, I added a whole bunch of Space Wolves things to, and it was a lot of fun. But I do it tastefully. Like, I don't go overboard with it. Some people completely do different sculpts, and if I'm going to do, in other words, change it to the point where it's completely unrecognizable. And if I were going to do that, then I would take an armature, which is a metal wire bit, take some green stuff, or Abe's Epoxy Sculpt, or Pro Sculpt, and I would sculpt my own miniature and learn how to sculpt. And there you go. That's the ultimate conversion right there. Make your own, right? It's a one-of-one copy of what you got. That is unique. All right? Which, you know, Tom Mason is actually a good sculptor, and he's on YouTube. Check him out if you haven't seen him. And if you're into sculpting miniatures, I mean, he has a lot of techniques. Reach out. All right, really cool dude. Now he does everything on CAD, though. Well, not everything, but he does a lot of things on CAD, which most miniature sculptors do now. They do it on a program instead of actually taking the clay and the putty and doing that, although they're very talented with both mediums. Both the computer, it's easier to reproduce. All right, so now let me talk a little bit about not being able to complete models in a timely fashion. Well, actually, I want to even before that. I just want to announce that I have OCD. See, I had a really, really abusive childhood, so a lot of things, you know, a lot of things happen that were out of my control. So now I have a need to control myself, you know, and what I do, and do things in an orderly fashion. So that's me, and it's an actual condition. Some people play like, I have OCD, everything needs to be organized. But I can't sleep at night if my Vallejo paints are facing the wrong way. It's like, it helps when teaching though, because then all your grades are in order and everything is in order, and you can always find the paper. And then you get thrown 10 million papers, and you can find every single one of them throughout the entire year. So it works out to the job that I do. But so a lot of people don't understand that. Like, they don't get it just because they're not at that level. They think it's ridiculous, but it's the only way I can function. It just makes me feel complete. A lot of people misunderstand that. So, like, even my father, when I was small, like, I couldn't open a new cereal box until I finished the old cereal box, and that was ingrained. Like, if I opened the old cereal box, I would get in like so much trouble, and I mean like so much trouble. I don't know if I'd be able to walk the next day, because might have a broken leg or something. I don't know. I don't know. So no. So there's a sense of completion. Like, you do feel like once you finish a box, it feels so good. I mean, I did that, and you look at it, and you look at the box, and you look at the miniatures, like, this looks even better than the box, like, and that makes me so happy, So they have that sense of completion, which is definitely a benefit. But not being able to complete models in a timely manner. Now, timely manner, right? Let's talk about timely manner. If you go according to the release schedule of GW, if you go according to that release schedule, that it keeps on coming up with the new box and the new box and the new box, and every week they're coming up with a new release, and you try to keep up to that schedule, then no, you would need an actual studio of painters in order to paint to a high quality to get that, unless you're going for tabletop ready, and that's it. And Uncle Adam did a video, and if you don't know, is Tabletop Minions. He did a video when good is good enough when it comes to your painting, and seeing it from afar away is good enough for tabletop standard. And for beginning players, yes, don't beat yourself up. Don't be like this guy here, which I say, okay, when I look at a miniature, I'm like, okay, I did this, but is it the best of my ability? Oh, it's not? Okay, so I'm going to save this, put it into the cabinet, because that's done, and I'm going to put a next one. And the next one's got to be even better than the first one. Yeah, and it just has to be a small amount better. When you have an army on the field, what you do notice are the faces, because then you relate to them. They're human, you're human, you want to see a face, so you can relate to the miniature. The bases, the scenic, the world, the story that you're telling, where are they, what are they doing, right? And any kind of heraldry, like waving banners and flagrant things coming on, because they really draw the eye. Everybody else is just like, infantry. You got 100 models on the table. You kind of just got to pick out the major things. So those are the three things that people actually notice when you put them on the table, and they're, far away. So if you're going to notice small little details from Model A and Model X, and have to look at the 20-something models in between to see a little bit of a difference, then, get off my models, man. You're just touching my models way too much. I'm kidding. But honestly, if you look at the models, to me, it tells a story. Okay, so when I started, I was here, and now I'm here, and I think here is much better. Now, notice I didn't say here. I said here, because my changes and lasting changes, I've noticed, actually happen over time and very gradually. So you take one thing and you change the one thing, and you get really good at that one thing, and then you go on to the next thing and build upon that. Now, if you try to get from here to all the way up here in one shot, then you're going to get discouraged. I mean, I would. I'm definitely not painting to a level of Alfonso Gilderaz or any kind of, like, I'm not Vince Venturola just yet, but I'm under his tutelage, and I know I'm going to get there one day. I mean, that's my dream, to keep pushing myself. And the odd thing about that, I like the dynamic between Vince and I, because the more I push myself to get to that level, the more he pushes himself to get to this level. So it's like a race that I'm never going to win. I'm not even going to get even. I'm just going to be here, and it's going to keep on progressing. But if I'm at his level that he was 2 years ago, right? That was still darn good. you know, so I'm okay with that, you know. So that's interesting, because the way you realize it, if you're trying to get better than somebody else, they're getting better as they, you know, unless they stop painting miniatures, and Vince is not going to stop painting miniatures anytime soon that I can tell, and neither am I. All right, so here's something, the timely manner thing. I don't I don't paint to play the game. Now, a lot of people paint the miniatures to play the game. Like, that's their goal. I want to paint up these miniatures, get them on the table, and do the strategy, and love that, and that's awesome, and that's great. I paint them so I can put them in my cabinet, and they can kind of look good. And every time I look at them, I say, look what I did. That's epic, you know. That's enjoyment. The actual process of building it and creating, like, it was just like a whole bunch of piece of model bits, and I came and I gave the love, the care to make sure the mold lines are gone, and to putty up the creases that might have happened that doesn't belong there, and to take off any kind of flashing that was left on for the molding process, and then painting it and bringing it to life, giving it character, adding some battle damage to it, or having a really clean paint job, or muddying up the boots and telling a story with that, creating a scene or a base or a thematic scene for the entire army, and having it all flow in that world. That's just, that whole creative process to me is the rewarding part. And my friends come over and we have some fun with it, then hey, we can have some fun with it. Is that why I paint? No, I don't. No, I paint because they look cool, and that's the angle. Like, a lot of people like, but you know, by the time you finish painting this Marines, they're gonna have another set of Marines that are gonna be even better. I was like, I know, but I'm still gonna enjoy painting these Marines. You know, so that's it. That being said, I did sell off my TAC Marines because, I don't know, I kind of just want to paint Primaris, and I have the old boxes. All right, so here's the deal. So far, and it seems that way this is going to be, I still have to paint Logan Grimnar. I still have to paint my Wolven. I do have to paint the Thunderwolf Cavalry that I have in the box sets. And these are all small Marines. I still have to do Ulrich the Slayer. I still have to do Crom. Wolflord Crom, also a smaller TAC Marine. I am going to build and paint those and enjoy painting those as well. But once those are done, I don't think I'm painting any more of the smaller Marines, like ever. So that's it. I do have Dark Angels Terminator Squad, which I might paint up and do some kind of charity or sell off or something like that, because I don't play Dark Angels. I do have a Dark Angel upgrade sprue when I bought my Hellblasters, which is the Dark Angels version of it, only because it's exactly the same as the regular Hellblaster crew, but it just had the Dark Angels sprue. So, you know, I'm going to sell that off as well. So I'm thinking about doing that and painting some stuff, maybe doing something for charity, and thinking about doing that with those kinds of models. But all in all, I'm going to be painting Primaris after I finish painting those little projects. Murderfang too. Yeah, that's a trash to treasure. And it's really sad because I did part 1 to the trash to treasure part, and I'm really trying to hold off on Murderfang because I really don't want to paint Murderfang up and, you know, not do the second part to that trash to treasure, because I already have it in the playlist. So if you check the playlist and see that I took I took a Dreadnought and I made it into Murderfang by using the bits and everything else and doing the conversion with that, which took a little bit of tweaking, which was fun because this is a model that, you know, nobody was going to use anymore, and I made it into something that I am going to use. Oh, and you have to say it like this, Murderfang. I don't know why. It just seems like one of those things that you have to say with the Space Wolves, and I love it. I love the character of the Space Wolves personally. Drove me to it, really did. So I do not paint to play the game. I paint and build because it's fun. Playing the game seems, well, this seems hardest for most people to come to grip with. Like a lot of people can't get to grips with the fact that I'm painting for painting's sake, and that I play, but I enjoy the painting a lot better than the playing for the most part. Because a lot of the time with the rules and stuff like that, like I find it really hard to memorize my stratagems. I mean, I mean, maybe I'm slow. I'm probably slow. I don't have a math brain. I have a language brain, so it's more artistic for me. I'm on the artsy side of things. I don't know if that's bad. Is that bad? What do you think? Do you think that's bad? Comment down below. Let me know if that's bad. I don't know. Maybe that's just subjective, right? I don't think that's bad. Why do I keep on using that if that's subjective, right? How else can I explain it? I don't think that it's something to be frowned upon in this hobby. Right there. I don't think it's something to be frowned upon in this hobby. If you just like painting the miniatures and you like the high quality of GW, then what's stopping you to paying the premium that you have to pay? Now, if you are in the hobby for that reason and that reason only, it's kind of hard to justify some of the prices of the miniatures, which go by, you know, the effectiveness on the battlefield instead of, you know, the amount of plastic that they use. But you know what? If you really love the model and you're only doing one model here and there, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Right? To me, anyway. Let's see. So I have a whole bunch of unopened boxes here. And actually, I have the starter set for Warhammer 40K, which I did open up, and I gutted out. And I put half of a box, I think, of Wake the Dead. So I have 2 boxes in one right there. I kind of condensed it and put it all together. Yeah, I know, right? And then I have a whole bunch of other boxes that I have unopened there. So the question is, did I pick Shadowspear up? You darn tootin' I did. I picked up Shadowspear. I think having assassins and stuff like that for my Space Wolves army would be really cool aesthetically. Like, I think I could do like one of those armies on parade. I mean, I think I can really rock that if there was a GW close enough that I'm willing to get to, and I can actually drive again, which, you know, my foot is still healing. I won't be able to actually put weight on it until April. So I'm looking forward to April where I can put weight on it. But I'm going to try. The doctor said, you know, it's not weight bearing, but I might be able to push the pedal while driving coming up, you know, like this week or next week. I'm going to definitely do that. All right. So, I'm okay with all the unopened boxes back here. Like, it's not really shameful. I say it's the pile of shame, but it's not really shame, you know, because I can't keep up with the release schedule of GW or the expectation that people have that I'm going to be able to paint all these miniatures in a timely fashion to the standard that I'm happy with, where I'm challenging myself as an artist and getting better every day. If I'm going to do something, I might as well get better at it. And that's my philosophy towards that, no matter how long it takes. The first time I started painting miniatures, it was for Hordes. It was my Troll Blood army, and it took me a year to do 10 miniatures. And I'm really happy with those miniatures. I really am. Speaking of which, I have an army box, so one of these days I got to do that. Okay, so let's see. So I'm okay with my open boxes, and I know that I will model and paint for as long as I'm able to do so. I am. So I'm never going to get bored, nor will I get burnt out. Do you know why? Because I'm not forcing myself to paint miniatures for a game, or forcing myself, oh, I got to paint these miniatures. And, oh, I got to do this because I got this tournament coming up, and I got to have an extra unit of this. And, oh, man, I really don't want to paint that. You know what happens when I don't want to paint something? I don't paint it. It stays in the box, you know? And then when I'm in the mood to paint it, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to paint it. And when I feel like, oh, man, I don't know, maybe I should paint something else. I don't. I finish what I start, you know? And consistency is something that lends itself to people. And what I think, you know, what the consistency that people have, like, that gains character in yourself. Like, if you say you're going to do something, you follow through, and you have that follow through, it builds a character as a person. Like, people can depend on you if you follow through what you say. So if I'm committing to opening a box and finishing a box, I'm committing to show you what my personality is like in a way where if I say something, I mean it. and I follow through with it to the best of my ability. I just don't make promises and not keep them. I don't break promises, but then I don't make a lot of promises that I can't keep. You know, and that's just who I am as a person. So I think, you know, starting a box and then finishing it, even though it takes a long time, actually builds character and personality. You know, it just builds character and consistency, right? Reliability, which I think are very good qualities personally. So I won't get burnt out because I'm not forcing myself to paint for a game, but I'm dedicating myself to paint to complete something that I've started. So when I look at one of these boxes, I have to feel like, wow, I really want to paint this unit. No, I really want to paint this box. This box to me is calling to me right now, and I feel the urge to paint the entire thing. And that, whether it is going to be the Warhammer miniatures, whether it's going to be the Hordes miniatures, or it's going to be the weird miniatures, because, you know, I do have Malifaux as well. I have 2 crews painted up and another crew that I have in the box waiting for me to paint as well. I do have a ton of Reaper miniatures, which I love to paint, maybe even sell. People can use that for their D&D campaigns. If I ever start a D&D campaign, maybe I can use it for my own as well, because I do like to craft a little bit as well. A lot of great channels out there. DM Scotty is the grandfather for me into the crafting DM hobby, and he's still out there. So DM Scotty, check him out. Pretty good stuff right there. Whitelock is really good as well. I like the way he does things with his patterns and everything else. And Black Magic Craft, cool dude. Yep. I used to like his mascot. His mascot's no longer there. I mean, I used to watch him in the beginning when he just started out, my brother. Anyway. I'm painting not for the game, I'm painting for enjoyment, right? And my fun is looking at a box art and trying to always paint to the higher standard, to my opinion, and I also like to tweak tastefully designs and converting them a tad here and there. I don't go overboard with them. Again, I think that if I wanted to sculpt, I think that would be the ultimate expressions of a conversion, right? Well, that's my response. I mean, is the release schedule good or bad for the hobby? I think it's just fine. You know, keep releasing stuff. What, I have more options? That's great. Wow, I have more gorgeous models that I can enjoy this hobby by painting and building and putting together. Then there you go. You know, I'm all for it. Sometimes, though, I like to take a breather. That's for sure. But good thing that I set money aside just for the hobby. Now, that being said, all my stuff for the proceeds when it comes to selling the shirts and me constantly putting a dedicated amount of money away for my new computer is exactly the same. That has not been touched or hindered. Actually, I have my own little account where all that money is going into, and we're looking great with that. We have more people buying shirts, which it's awesome, and thank you. I do have to say that if you do want to order a shirt, the link is down there. If you want to give a tip, the PayPal tip is down there as well. That I can get links for. And I think I can get the 40K link. I'm going to get that IDICBeer 40K link in there. I'm going to figure out how to do that. But yeah, if you want to order a t-shirt, they're limited. And I'm talking about on the 31st. After that date, you're not going to be able to order another shirt. So it's not going to be fulfilled. And you can hold on to the Google form all you want. But I'm not going to fulfill any more orders. At least for 2019, maybe 2020. I don't even know. I don't even know how long it's going to take. It depends. All right. So this is going to be really final. If you want to get a TMP t-shirt, click on the link below. Order the t-shirts, and it's $6 shipping and handling across the United States. $15 to $20. They told me to Europe. So there, I don't know anywhere beyond that. If you did order a t-shirt, I am sending emails. I've sent emails to everybody for the payment with the receipt, I guess, the invoice. And it says TMP invoice. Click onto that email. Check your junk mail for that. Hopefully it's not gone. I'm going to resend it. And closer to the date, if I haven't received payment, a lot of people left their phone numbers. I'm just going to do a quick text if that's okay. Let me know if it's not. Hopefully you're watching the video to the end. Thank you, everyone, for supporting the show. Thank you. Thank you for everyone coming on and really being awesome and epic. So, if you like this video, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on the Miniatures Paintbrush.